You can start it. Deep breath. So we're going to talk about pain today. Welcome to Healing by Design series. This is a tough topic. I'm a little stressed about talking about pain for some reason. Let me pray. Let's start there. Maybe that'll help. Father, we love you. We thank you for this walk, this journey, even this oftentimes difficult journey, Lord. As we talk about pain today, that you would show us who you are, where you would show us that you're the one who delivers us from our difficulties, from our pain. Yet pain is a real part of our lives, of everybody's life. And so we just have to keep our eyes on you and learn through the process and grow. And our desire is that we'd find you through the difficulties of life, and just help us to understand pain at a deeper level, especially through the understanding in the eyes that you are a good God, you are a good Father. You've suffered the pain of watching your Son die for us, so you know what pain is. And we just ask for deeper understanding of the human condition, pain as it relates to the physical body, a body that you designed in your image, for your glory, for your purposes. So Lord, I just ask for grace and peace today, Lord. I pray that just the words I would have would somehow help somebody or impact somebody in some way, or that they would find you at a deeper level. That's really my heart's desire. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. So pain is a hard topic. It's there's all kinds of different pain. We'll mainly focus on physical pain. I mean, so many people struggle with physical pain, but every single human being on this planet knows pain to some level. And they know emotional pain. Everybody's been through emotional pain, So, I always like to look deeper when I do the classes, and especially look at the definitions and the origins of words. And I think I was especially struck by the definition of even what pain is. Going back, looking to the roots, usually it's Greek or Latin or, something. And pain in Latin, poena, is penalty. That's what pain means. It means penalty. And the word in French, and I speak French, the word is peine, P-E-I-N-E, peine. But in Old French, and this is what really struck me, is the word pain is derived from a meaning that is the suffering inflicted as punishment for an offense. Now think about that. It's the suffering inflicted as punishment for an offense. And of course, the thing I immediately thought of was I thought of God. I thought of creation. I thought about design. I thought about sin. And so I kind of went through I thought it would be interesting to look at pain in the Bible. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. But again, with that understanding that it's suffering inflicted as a punishment for an offense, I think it gives us a different perspective on what pain is. Because we know how God designed us is to be pain-free. He designed us to be free of sin. He designed us to live forever, and the only reason we have pain and suffering is because of sin. Now, a lot of the world doesn't have the fullness of that realization if you don't know the gospel, if you don't know the truth and the reality of Jesus Christ, having to come to pay for and to die for our sin and for our suffering. But we know it full and well. We know that that's the reality of the world we live in, and that's the reality of the human condition, is pain that started with sin of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And very early in Genesis 3:16, he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you will bring forth children. And so that was kind of the start of a lot of pain, was right after that initial sin. And Job talked a lot about pain through his suffering. Job 5:18, for he inflicts pain and he gives relief. He wounds and his hands also heal. Job also said in 9:28, I'm afraid of all my pains. I know that you will not acquit me. David, the psalmist, he said in 69:29, David said, I am afflicted and I am in pain. And it's interesting that almost every single prophet of God suffered through pain and talked about their pain. And these are people that were used mightily by God. And every single one of them went through extreme pain. Physical, usually, but definitely also emotional pain. Jeremiah said, why has my pain been perpetual, my wound incurable, refusing to be healed? In Romans, it says, for we know that the whole creation groans and suffers the pains of childbirth. So even creation is suffering pain since sin. Animals weren't designed to kill other animals. This is the result of a fallen world. All the pain that's even plants and animals and all of God's creation is going through. We're waiting for that time of redemption. We're waiting for that second coming of Christ. And then starting with Genesis, of course, the beginning of pain because of sin, we have the fullness of the hope of what Christ brings. And that's the famous scripture in Revelation 21:4, where he says he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will no longer be any death. There will no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. The first things have passed away. So pain is a part of the human condition. And I feel like I've had a wrong view of pain. I feel like a lot of people have a wrong view of pain. Because everybody has a different opinion of things. But I'll tell you what I see with myself and most people. Most people see pain as a negative. They see pain as not understanding God and His ways. And how can there be pain in a world with a good God? And honestly, with physical pain, I think what a lot of people see is pain. People just see pain as a nuisance. People see pain as something that's in the way of their lives, right? I mean, have you ever been in pain and been like, gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't exercise, I can't, it's just like, it's frustrating. It's a nuisance. So we've always looked at pain as bad. I guess in a way it is bad because it is the result of a fallen world. Because if without sin there would be no pain. And we know through the redemption of Christ in the second coming and through eternity we will not have pain. I mean, praise God. I mean, if nothing else, with everything going on in humanity and all the pain and suffering, people should hold on to that. And that's why a lot of people need to find the truth in Christ, because there's no one else and there's no other religion that offers that truth and that reality of freedom from pain forever. I argue, I don't want to say argue, but I guess a perspective to look at it is that looking at pain as something that is good for sinful people. And the reason pain is good for sinful people, because it's without pain, because of sin, nobody here lasts a day. If you think about all the stupid things that we do, and you think about the way God designed the human body. I mean, clearly, He designed senses and sensory perception and nerves and a nervous system in a way to feel. And without sin, we can feel and we can have all those good senses that God gave us without the pain and suffering. But because of sin, we have pain. And thank God for it. I've said many, many times in my classes, thank God for pain. Because if it wasn't for pain, we wouldn't know right from wrong. We wouldn't know when we're making a mistake. Our children wouldn't know not to touch the hot stove and burn themselves, and they'd keep doing it over and over again until they killed themselves if we didn't feel pain. So thank God that we feel pain, because it's a way for us to know that there's something out of alignment. Now, besides just physical pain, we have emotional pain who's lost a loved one? Everybody's lost someone that they didn't want to lose and felt the pain of that. And the reason we feel the pain of that and that hurts so bad is because we know that wasn't God's intentions or plan for people to die at all. We were to have eternal life. So that's a different kind of pain. But I'm mainly going to be talking today about physical pain and suffering, because that's what so many people are struggling with health and nutrition. We're going to talk about why it's such an epidemic issue, just this pain issue. I put in my notes that getting out of pain doesn't mean covering it up. So a lot of people have emotional pain that they keep inside, that they cover up, that they don't want to talk about. They pretend like everything's okay. They're dying inside. I've done that. Most of us have done that. We all know people who do that. But it also doesn't mean covering up our pain with pharmaceutical drugs. Because there's a reason, because I believe in cause and effect based upon God's creation and design. There's a reason we have pain, especially in our physical bodies. There's a reason that we're suffering in our physical bodies, cause and effect. So when we take pharmaceutical drugs, we cover up that pain, and we're not hearing what God is saying. We're not listening to what God is saying through our bodies. So it means understanding what is God saying through our pain. Are we going to learn from it? Are we going to grow from it? Are we going to embrace God through the pain and in the pain? And hopefully, ideally, one day come out of it, right? I guess that's the goal, is to get out of pain. But I know many people who have said that they would not trade their pain for anything, or trade that time in their lives when they were going through severe pain, because it's when they were closest to God. Has anybody experienced that, or known anybody who's experienced that? I've known many people who, not that they wanted to suffer all those years, but they wouldn't trade it because of the experience and the growth that they got from it and the connection it gave them to their Creator. So I think it's important to embrace pain and learn from it. Now, a lot of the reasons we're in pain, we can avoid. We can get out of pain. And because it's part of our not being aligned with how God designed us to live, especially in this area of physical pain. So we're aware of pain in our bodies. God designed us. He's a good designer. He knows what He's doing. We have an intricate system of a brain and a spinal cord and nerves that go throughout the entire body. There's nerves in every square inch of the human body. And if you feel pain, it's related to a nerve response. Pain is sent through nerve signals. So again, if you touch something and it burns you, that's because a nerve got damaged and it sent a signal to the brain saying, ouch. And that's how you know pain, is through that nervous system. If you've ever known an animal that's been injured, don't go near them or they'll try to bite you, right? You don't go near an animal that's been injured. So we need time to heal and repair when we've been injured. I give the example, if anybody slept wrong and woke up and couldn't move their neck for an entire day? We've all done that, right? That's the nerves. That's the nervous system. That's us not being aligned properly, sleeping wrong, being kinked, different things. I'm just trying to highlight the reality of this nervous system. But pain in the body, physical pain in the body, and I didn't know this before, but when I say it, it makes sense. It's the number one reason people go to the doctor. It's the number one reason people go to the doctor. And people go to the doctor a lot. And millions of people go to the doctor. My wife and I were open to going to the doctor if we need to in an emergency situation, but we haven't been to the doctor in years. Neither one of our girls have ever seen a doctor or stepped foot in a hospital. I'd love to keep it that way, but I'm not against emergency care because we are in a sinful, fallen world and sometimes accidents happen. But it's the number one reason people visit the doctor is pain. It is the number one symptom in almost every medical condition. So when people have diabetes, there's often pain associated with that. Neuropathy, retinopathy, swelling, edema. There's all kinds of pain symptoms related to that. So whether it's multiple sclerosis, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, whatever the illness is, there's almost always pain associated with it. Because again, how would we even know the possibility that something is wrong in our bodies if we didn't experience pain? So that's why pain can be a good thing, because it can get us to change our ways, or it can get us to dig deeper into what's not working right in our bodies so that we can heal it, we can fix it, we can change it so that we can get out of pain. Pain medications, so I'm talking pharmaceutical drugs, are the number one selling class of drugs in the world. Which means pain medications are worth how much money to the pharmaceutical industry? You can't even count it. Millions would be like saying pennies, because it's trillions of dollars. It's trillions of dollars to the pharmaceutical industry. So, do we believe that our medical system, and especially the pharmaceutical industry, wants us to know how to get out of pain? Of course they don't want us to know how to get out of pain. They're in business to make money. They're in business to have people in pain, and they're in business to have people in pain for their entire lives so that they can make millions and trillions of dollars off of people's suffering. Do you guys understand that? The pharmaceutical industry is designed to make trillions of dollars off of people's suffering. It is a wicked, demonic system, and I've said that many times before. Doesn't mean that that you should feel horrible and shameful and guilty because you're taking a pharmaceutical medication. But I will tell you, it was not ever part of God's plan for us, and still today I don't believe it's God's plan for us. I believe it's what the Bible talks about in Revelation. I believe it's sorcery. I believe it's pharmakia. I believe it's taking synthetic man-made chemicals to force an action on the body that causes pain and suffering to people while taking their money. And that doesn't mean that these things don't work. Of course that they work. And, many people have been in surgeries and taken morphine and different drugs, and it worked. It numbed them. It did what it needed to do to take away the pain so that you didn't feel the pain while you're going through surgery. Okay, so again, in a broken, fallen world, we have surgeries. There's a need for these medications in some circumstances. But the fact that it's the number one reason people go to the hospital, the number one selling drug in the entire world and worth trillions of dollars to the pharmaceutical industry, I'm letting you know that it's something that needs to get changed. Because if we didn't have, have you guys ever seen those old, I just thought of this, like those old westerns when somebody broke their leg or something? Okay, so what did they do in the old westerns when somebody broke their leg?
Give them a stick.
Bottle of whiskey and a stick in the mouth, right? And let's set that thing. Okay, so we have advanced in some ways in taking care of and treating injuries and things like that. So again, it's really hard for me to speak these things truthfully in a way, especially that doesn't offend people, because there is a time and a place and a need for some of these things. But 99% of it is wrong and done at people's expense. So that's what I have to stress in that. So the pharmaceutical industry, hospitals are for-profit organizations. You guys realize that, right? We're not a communist society. They're not government-run institutions. All hospitals are for-profit institutions. That's why they advertise on billboards to come to our hospital, because we're the best. Okay? So they're for-profit. So again, the more drugs that they sell, the more people that are sick, the more people that are injured, the more people that are in pain, the more money. So this is a system designed to keep people sick and unhealthy. That's why people go to Europe to try to get healing, because they actually try to heal the people. That's how it was always done here in America until the pharmaceutical industry came about and was basically overtaken by the Rockefellers, which I've talked about in classes before, but they found that a way through oil and petroleum, which was their main business, that they could make these pharmaceutical drugs out of it and make trillions more dollars. So a big root of this is demonic, and it's the Rockefellers, and there were other groups as well, but they're the main ones. They're the main ones that took over and hijacked the healthcare system and all the hospitals and all the doctors and created this web of deception. So the doctors mostly are innocent. You know, I've said many times that they're a product of their education. Unfortunately, it's just a very poor education. But we put doctors on a pedestal and think that they know everything. But they're trained by the pharmaceutical industry. They're trained by for-profit organizations. They're often, I don't want to use that word because it would sound bad, but they're just relaying information that they've learned. And unless somebody steps out of the box to actually learn the truth and to learn what these drugs do and to learn better ways of healing people, they will be stuck in that pattern of giving people these pharmaceutical drugs that destroy human life. So I know I've talked pretty intensely about the medical system and the pharmaceutical industry, but it has to be said, because if people don't... It's going, right? Yeah. Hannah? Okay. So... So let me go to a couple definitions. Let me get off of that. Let me move on. The dictionary definition of pain is a distressing feeling caused by intense or damaged stimuli. Pain motivates an individual to withdraw from a damaging situation, to protect a damaged body part as it heals, and to avoid similar experiences in the future. Okay, that's a pretty good definition of pain. Here's what Johns Hopkins, which is known as one of the most reputable hospitals in the world. Johns Hopkins Hospital says, this is on their website, so it's okay for me to say this. Pain is an uncomfortable feeling that tells you something may be wrong. It can be steady, throbbing, stabbing, aching, pinching, or described in many other ways. Sometimes it's a nuisance, like a headache. Other times it can be debilitating. Pain can range from mild to severe. My wife, we met because she was in a debilitating pain situation. She's from Hawaii. She moved to Kansas City. She was shoveling snow. A Hawaiian should not shovel snow because they don't know what they're doing. And she shoveled the snow. She went inside. She hit the floor and she couldn't move. And she was in tears. And for over a year, she couldn't even barely get up to go pee. Her pain was so bad. So there's debilitating pain that keeps people from even functioning. Now, this is the next sentence in that Johns Hopkins definition of pain. Currently, the best way to treat pain is to manage the symptoms. Those are their exact words. So in other words, let's not run tests to find out why you have pain. Let's not see if nutrition plays a role. Let's not see if chiropractic or food or herbs can help. Let's not see if some hot-cold therapy can help. Let's not see if a far-infrared sauna can help. Let's not see if swimming in the ocean could maybe help, or doing some water aerobic type of exercises could help. Let's not look at anything natural. Let's manage your symptoms. And people pay tens of thousands of dollars to go to these places to get answers for their medical issues. And what they get is they get drugs, and they get more pain, and they get more suffering. So pain is telling us that something's wrong in the body. The way God designed us in His image, and praise God that we have a way to feel pain so that we know something's wrong. It's an opportunity. I feel like pain is an opportunity to learn, to talk to God, to learn about our bodies, to discover the truth that's really happening. Trust me, my wife learned a lot in her pain condition. Not just how to get out of pain, although we did learn that. We learned some things about the body and what she needed to heal to get out of her back pain, which she is now free of back pain. But she learned a lot about suffering and struggling and what other people go through and clinging on to God when it feels like you have no answer to your problems. And so there's a lot of things we can learn through pain. Pain conditions can be headaches, arthritis, one of the most common things that people suffer from, rheumatoid arthritis, gout, which is extreme pain in the big toe. I met a couple people with gout that said, my pain in my big toe is so bad, you could have cut my toe off and I wouldn't have cared. Like, it was that bad. Stomach pain, liver, gallbladder pain, common. Gallbladder surgery is very common. Appendix bursting, that's pain. Any woman you've ever known who have ovarian cysts and had one burst, that's pain. That's immediate emergency room. You feel like you're dying kind of pain. Bursitis, back pain, kidney pain, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, Crohn's disease, any of these inflammatory pain conditions. If people aren't on prednisone and steroids, you can't do anything. It's debilitating pain. Pinched nerves, there's hundreds and hundreds of pain conditions. So, I put, did God give us ways to cope and handle and deal with pain? Of course, at a spiritual level, at an emotional level, the Lord. That's what most of us hopefully turn to, is the Lord as our healer. But what I try to show people is that God heals in many ways. And He's given us many things to help us overcome pain. Like changing our ways, correcting what's wrong, healing the part of the body that's damaged, using nutrition and other things that God gave us. Unfortunately, a lot of times in the Christian community, we feel like an immediate miracle or a touch by God is the only way anybody's going to get better or healed. And that is wrong. That is not the only, you're putting God in a box if you expect Him to fix everything by a miracle. In other words, we want us to correct all of our problems, all of our sin, all of our walking in the wrong way. We want Him to just touch it and fix it. And I don't feel like we learn that way. I don't feel like we grow that way. I mean, just to get a little bit personal with you guys, I don't know if a lot of people know this. I haven't talked about it a lot in my classes, but I have struggled and battled in my own health journey. For 7+ years, I have struggled with my health without a full answer to why and what I'm struggling with. I've learned a whole lot in the process, and I've seen a lot of other people get healed, but I am still struggling with my pain. But the prayer that I pray to God, and most people would probably tell me that's the stupidest prayer you could possibly pray. I pray to God, I said, I do not want you to touch me with a miracle. I want to know why I'm suffering. I want to learn through the process. I want to learn how to get in alignment with you so that I don't suffer in this type of pain anymore. And I want to use my pain to see other people healed and set free. Don't heal me unless I've learned what I need to learn so that I can walk in it long term. And that's the opposite of what most people pray. And in fact, they get upset that God hasn't taken away their pain. And so, this is a real thing. This is a real human condition, this pain and suffering. And we have to find the goodness of God in it. I wouldn't, like many other people have said, I wouldn't trade my pain and suffering for anything. Even though it breaks me down to nothing at times, I would never, ever change it. Because I know God's using it. And how much would I pursue learning more and learning more about God and learning other therapies and ways of healing and digging deeper if I wasn't in pain? Because you know what? When we're not in pain and we think everything's okay in our life, because we got plenty of food, plenty of clothing, plenty of shelter, we get dull. We suffer from dullness and idleness. That's what Ezekiel said was one of the sins of Sodom. We think the sin of Sodom was sexual immorality. It was idleness and fullness of food. So, God uses pain for his purposes. And one of the things he's looking for is he's looking for people to partner with. He's looking for people to partner with that will learn the ways of God through his pain. How many people have suffered through the pain of divorce to learn and find God, to maybe get remarried and do it right the next time, or maybe to help other people who are suffering through the process, whether it's alcoholism or pornography or whatever people are suffering with, or physical pain like I deal with a lot in the human body. We have to find God through this process. There's no other way, because otherwise you don't have anything. If you don't have God to hang on to, you have nothing. So God gave us many ways to deal with pain. Tears, fellowship, hugs, crying, love, other people. I love all that stuff. The shortest scripture in the Bible is what? Jesus wept. See, we all know that scripture. Jesus wept. He's a God of emotion. He wept for Lazarus, So, but he also gave us, besides miracles, he also gave us food and a human body that feels pain because we know something's wrong. And fresh air and sunshine and water and oxygen and thousands of plants, of which we're lucky that we understand 1% of the goodness of the glory of what God gave us through his creation. And we don't even appreciate his creation anymore. We don't honor his creation. We don't take care of plants. We don't take care of animals. We destroy the environment. We don't think it matters. It really matters. God is jealous for his creation. He's jealous for us, but he's jealous for his creation. And that's why I love what I do, because I get to see the healing power of God work in people through his creation. And that's why I choose to use the natural things of God to see people get healed. And I understand the mass deception of the medical industry and pharmaceutical drugs that cover up the pain. And in fact, what they do is they separate us from God. Because we'll save questions to the end. They separate us from God because we don't want this pain. It's a thorn in our side that's interrupting my life. So I'm going to ignore what God is saying to me. I'm going to cover it up with a man-made pharmaceutical drug, and I'm just going to move on with my life. How do we learn? How do we grow through that process? All right. I'm trying to think of where to go from here. I did put down Revelation 9:21 about pharmaceutical drugs and pharmakia. I believe it's sorcery. Mankind did not repent of their murders, nor their sorceries, nor their immorality, nor of their thefts. And the pharmaceutical industry is doing all of these things to people. They're stealing people's lives. They're stealing people's identities. They're stealing people's opportunity to get health and healing in alignment with who God designed them to be. Because God didn't design you to be in pain and suffering your whole life. But like Job, he's going to learn what his sin was, and God delivered him of his pain and suffering once he learned the lesson he needed to learn. And that's the same with Ezekiel and David. And Paul's a little unique. He allowed Satan to touch him because of the realm that God was walking in. And that's like a whole nother story. But we don't totally understand the ways of God. But what I do know is people can get out of pain with most of the physical suffering people don't have to suffer with today. Also, besides pain drugs being the number one selling drugs in the world, they're the number one most addictive drugs in the world. They force an action on the body because you're taking a coal tar-based man-made pharmaceutical drug that has no intelligence to it. That's why you do mouse studies, because you give it to a mouse and it does something to its body and its nervous system. You see how it reacts. That's the same action it's going to have on a human being. That's not how God works. God uses his creation, his plants, His herbs, His minerals that work with our bodies. We're fashioned out of the same earth that plants and minerals are fashioned out of. And so our bodies work in alliance with the rest of God's creation. So our body knows and understands what an herb is supposed to do on our bodies because God created it. That doesn't happen when you use magic or witchcraft or sorcery, or these are things contrary to God, and that includes pharmaceutical drugs. They numb the nervous system. They force an action on the body. They numb the nervous system so that you don't feel the pain. That's like an elite athlete breaking his leg, taking a shot of morphine, and going out back on the field. Now, who would ever be that stupid to do that? Who would never do that? Because you risk a life-threatening, career-ending injury. You wouldn't do that. These drugs alter brain activity. They bind opiate receptors in the brain, which often causes a euphoric feeling, which is why they're so addictive. And because they're so readily available, who's doing all these drugs out there right now? Teenagers. Kids are getting a hold of this stuff. And we judge people because they're on cocaine or they smoke marijuana. I mean, you want to start a war on drugs, start a war against the pharmaceutical industry. They destroy tens of thousands times more people than cocaine ever has or ever will. But we don't talk about it. So let me just run through so you guys understand the reality of the dangers of pharmaceutical drugs. Vioxx, do you guys remember that drug? Killed over 100,000 people before they took it off the market. Why did they take it off the market? Because pharmaceutical industries keep track of how much money they're paying out to people that they've hurt, killed, or destroyed, and they balance that against how much profit they're making. And when they're losing money on it, they usually pull the drug. Rarely does the FDA make them pull a drug. I mean, how could over 100,000 people die from a pharmaceutical drug before they pull it from the market? How's that even possible? I mean, if one person took an herb and died from it, it'd be like worldwide news. It's a joke. So 100,000 people died from Vioxx before they took it off the market. Aspirin. Ulcers, internal bleeding, brain damage, liver damage, kidney damage. Kills 10,000 people a year, and we give it to babies because they have a fever. Acetaminophen, if you've heard that word before. That's Tylenol, acetaminophen. 560,000 emergency room visits each year. It's the number one reason people call the Poison Control Center. It's the number one cause of acute liver failure, responsible for over half of all cases of acute liver failure. But it's okay because you got a headache and you can go to the drugstore and just buy it over the counter anywhere, so it must be safe, right? No. Opiates, addictive drugs, Vicodin, Percocet, Oxycontin, hydrocodone. You guys heard these drugs? These are some of the heaviest, dutiest drugs on the market and in the world. Number one cause of drug overdoses among all drugs in the world. That includes, again, these drugs that we get so worked up about, like cocaine and marijuana and LSD and all this other stuff. Those things are all bad. Trust me, I know that they're bad things. But they can't touch what the pharmaceutical industry is doing to against human life, against God's creation and design. 300% increase in the prescription of opiates over the last decade. 46 daily deaths from taking these opiate drugs. 46 daily deaths. Now, would it be on the news if a school bus with 46 people turned over and they all died? Yet 46 people every day die taking just this one class of pharmaceutical drugs. You never hear about it. For every death, there's 30 people that go to emergency room. So that's 1,400 people every day that are hurt bad enough to go to the emergency room or killed by taking just these opiate drugs. NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Advil, Aleve, ibuprofen. 17,000 deaths each year. Kills more people than AIDS does. Causes severe internal bleeding. COX-2 inhibitors, Celebrex. You guys heard of that one? 250% increase in heart attack and stroke. Drugs don't heal your body. They interfere with God's design of your body. We're ignoring the problem. If we ignore what God is saying to us through our body, the disease process continues. We never grow, and we're never going to heal from our issues. So how do we heal the body? So discover the why behind your pain. Again, God's a God of cause and effect. I touch something, I burn my finger, I know why. I go down a hill, so this is like when I was a kid, right? You go down a hill, you're like, man, I think I can do that. You go down the hill, the handlebars catch, you flip over, you break something, okay? You learn from that experience because of the pain endured from that experience. If I flipped over and broke something and didn't feel any pain, well, I'd just keep breaking things till I probably killed myself, okay? That's why I said I'm thankful that God gave us a body where we can feel pain. So it lets us know that something's wrong. We have to find the why behind our pain. So just a couple of quick examples. Headaches and migraines. I did a whole class on it. It's blood toxicity. If your blood has toxic things in it that can't get out, it causes headaches. It causes pain and discomfort in the body because God designed the blood to stay clean and to stay healthy. Arthritis. Toxins and bacteria built up in the joints. Okay, when your kidney and your lymph is backed up and fluid wastes are deposited in your joints, it's acids that usually build up in your joints. Those acids attract bacteria because the bacteria is usually trying to clean up the acidic waste. Gout would be an example of this. Uric acid buildup in the big toe. A lot of people have joint pain and arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis and gout. It's just a buildup of toxins in the body. If you take all those drugs I just told you that kill thousands and tens of thousands of people every year, you're covering up your pain. Your real issue is a toxicity condition in your body. You think you're treating yourself because you don't have pain anymore. Your pain's less. This is how people die prematurely. This is how people get crippling illnesses later in their lives. By never dealing with the root of the issue. By never healing and restoring the life force that God would want for them in their bodies. Muscle pain, fibromyalgia, buildup of scar tissue in the muscles. It's a toxicity condition. There's enzymes and different things that can break up those scar tissues and get it out of the body. Gout, I mentioned, it's uric acid buildup. You just need a diet change. Do things like lemon and apple cider vinegar and what's the other one? Baking soda, different things that can alkalize your body and get acid waste out of your body. There's always a reason for the pain. So removing the interference is a key to healing. That's why I'm so big on cleansing and diet changing. A lot of the foods we eat are inflammatory foods. If people have a pain condition, a lot of times they know that if they eat this heavy junky meal or they eat fast food or they eat a bunch of sweets or sometimes people eat a piece of bread and it causes severe debilitating pain. Celiac disease. You know, if you're that sensitive to gluten, you eat one thing that has gluten in it, you can be in the fetal position in pain, feeling like you need to go to the emergency room. So there's a reason for it. And so we have to discover the reason. And that's what the medical system does not do. It does not find a reason for your pain. It says, we don't understand pain. Just like John Hopkins said, the best thing we can do is treat the symptoms. Let's give you some drugs. Yeah, they might hurt you or damage you or send you to the emergency room or kill you, but certainly that's better than living in pain, right? So let's just do it that way. But there's always a reason. So I just wrote down a few of the reasons because we don't know. There's not one single answer. There's not one single answer to everybody's physical pain they're suffering with in their body. Heavy metals, mercury toxicity can cause major nerve damage and nerve pain in the body. Trauma, of course. You fall off a horse, you get in a car accident, you know why you have your pain. Something needs to heal there. Like when my wife hurt her back, you know. She tore something, you damaged some discs. That's why chiropractors can be good things if you can find a good chiropractor. Chemical poisons in the body. It's all kinds of herbicides and pesticides and fuels and toxins people are exposed to that causes damage in their bodies. Infections. This is a big reason people have pain. I mean, we know it when people have pneumonia and bronchitis and all these different kinds of infections in their body, but a lot of people are suffering from low-grade systemic infections, candida, yeast, fungus, mold overgrowth, that's causing constant pain in their bodies. You know how I know this when people come into my office? They're like, yeah, as soon as I moved to Kansas City, I started getting head, sinus stuff, some joint pain. Why? Because Kansas City is a wet, damp, moldy environment. Because people have infections in their body. They have bacterial, fungal, yeast, mold overgrowth in their body. They go to Phoenix, Arizona in the dry heat and they feel great. And then they move there. For real. Why do people feel the changes in the weather patterns? It's because of what's going on in their body. It's because of toxins in their body. The cold, they get constricted, they feel more pain. So there's things going on in our body that are the reason why we have the pain. And again, pain drugs is never going to find that root of that issue and never going to solve the problem. So let's go over this little top 10 list I gave you. I've been long-winded today. Keys to getting out of pain. Let me just say before I start this, I am really jealous for God's creation and design. I'm jealous for full restoration, regardless of the choices we've made in our lives, which we've all done a lot of stupid things, or the choices of our past generations. I believe in full redemption. I believe that that is what God wants for us, regardless of what we're going through. But I'm also jealous of God's creation, of using plants and herbs and minerals and nutrition and energy medicine. I just say that to freak Christians out because they think that's all new agey weirdo stuff. Okay, but who do we think created the universe with this spoken word? What do you think that was? That was energy that went out and became life through a living God. So I love using the natural things of God to heal. And what I've said many times, and I'll continue to repeat, is my heart's desire is that people would find God and use God and the things of God for their life struggles, and not man and the things of man. Because that medical system, although it will save your life and it will help you in times that you need it, it will never bring about full restoration for your body in a chronic disease condition or a chronic pain condition, and none of those pharmaceutical drugs are ever going to bring about healing to your body. If you take a pain drug or a steroid and you do heal and you get better, it's only because God designed you to heal yourself, and you're a self-healing mechanism, and you just healed naturally anyway. Certainly you don't take a pharmaceutical drug and it heals you. That's just not even possible. All right, so top 10 list. 1, diet change. And that is a big deal. Why? Because people have damaged bowels. They have congested lymphatic system. Their kidneys aren't working. Their livers are clogged up. And if your organs aren't working right and you just eat whatever you want, you're creating pain and inflammation in your body. I mainly focus on nutrition. Why? Because I see it help the most people. I see people who have been suffering in pain for 5, 10, 15, 20 years on drugs, change their diet and their pain goes away. Yet we still have this obstinance among some people, maybe because they haven't experienced it for themselves, or in the medical community, that nutrition doesn't have anything to do with health. I mean, if that couldn't be the silliest possible thing, yet we still don't even really focus on it in our medical system. So a diet of fruits and vegetables and greens, nuts and seeds and lean meats, great. A diet full of processed foods and soda and diet soda and all these weird man-made things and Doritos and Cheez-Its and Fruit Loops and Pop-Tarts and Cool Whip and all the stuff we all grew up with and we all grew up eating, none of it was created by God, designed by God, ever intended by God to go in the human body. I mean, how for 1 second could he think we have a Garden of Eden and God's happy that we turned it into what we see in the grocery store aisles today. I mean, just get a visual and think of God's heart and what he gave us and what he designed and what we're walking in today. And why we have to not be so flabbergasted, why we're sick and why we're in pain and why people around us that we love are dying prematurely and suffering. It's mainly because of our choices that have allowed this to happen. So an alkaline diet, lots of greens, lots of fruits, lots of veggies, getting away from the processed foods, that'll help so many people. That will get them out of pain, especially arthritic pain. And one of the interesting things about my wife when we met is she was doing the natural thing. She was a physical therapist. She was doing physical therapy and chiropractic and all this stuff, and she ate what she thought was a healthy diet. And we had to have a sugar talk because to her, like, eating the natural sugars was okay. And so she was doing tons of agave syrup and everything and maple syrup, and she was eating tons of sugar. And as soon as I said, hey, I know it's natural sugar, but you might be eating too much and it could be blocking your body from healing, when she stopped eating that stuff, in 6 weeks, she went cross-country skiing with her friends, which she didn't think she'd be able to make that trip because she'd been in pain for over a year with no answers. Do you see sometimes like how simple it could be for some people? You know, I know you have a story, Esther. I read your thing. So getting off of sugar, changing our diet, it's huge component to the suffering people are going through today. People are suffering because of their diet choices, going to the doctor for an answer that has no clue, getting on pain drugs that further wreck our body and destroy our lives. There's no fullness there. There's no walk with God in that lifestyle, in that life. And we've been deceived by those choices. So we have to line up with that. We have to change our ways in that. So I'm going to go through some things. CBD oil I want to touch on because I think it's really powerful. I have capsules and I have liquid. And a lot of people have asked me my opinion on hemp and hemp oil, and of course the controversial subject of marijuana. And so I'll just give you a couple of minutes on it because I think it's important. I haven't done like a full official statement or whatever, like my opinion matters or something. But they're different. So I, of course, might just sound obvious, but I don't believe in any mind-altering substance that affects the ability of us to rationally think and to function the way God designed us. That's why I'm so against pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, they destroy the mind. It's a gateway to the enemy when you take pharmaceutical drugs. You're a wide open door. Just come on in, allowing the devil in. It's really, people have no concept. But any mind-altering substance, of course, can do that, which could be marijuana, which we know alcohol does that when it affects the mind. But I do love God's creation. And so I do think marijuana can be used in the right purposes. The problem with it is there's too many people who use it for the wrong reasons. There's too many people who want it to get legalized for the wrong reasons. And the fact that it has such a high concentration of THC, it affects people's ability to think and to function. It is a mind-altering substance. So I'm not a fan of it for that purpose. But what's cool about CBD oil, it's from hemp. It's a different plant. It's a sister plant. It's in the same family, but it's legal in all 50 states. It has almost no THC. It'll never, ever make anybody high or affect their brain or their mood in that way. It has, I think they said 0.3% THC, almost non-existent THC. But it's really high in CBD, which is cannabidiol. And the body has a system that regulates the nervous system called the endocannabinoid system that feeds off of these type of nutrients called cannabidiols. And it's in a variety of foods. And it's in a variety of herbs that God gave us. It just happens to be in very high concentration in hemp. And we do hemp oil and we do hemp seeds. But the CBD, these cannabidiols, regulate the nervous system. So when people take CBD, stress, anxiety, fear, worry, it relaxes the nervous system. People who are addicted to cigarettes to alcohol. Why do people do these things when they get home? To relax. We're so stressed, we're so anxious that we have to have alcohol to unwind, that we have to have smoke cigarettes to keep our nerves under control. But what's cool about the CBD oil is it can have that same effect on the body, and it can break people free of addictions. It will help people get out of pain. It's probably the most well-known thing right now in the natural world to get people off of pain medications and out of pain. If you take enough CBD oil for long enough, it will get you out of pain. I have an 81-year-old gal I'm working with who's been in pain for most of her life. She's on, I can't even remember the ridiculous amount of pharmaceutical drugs she was on, 30-something? You know, they say the average person over 65 is on like 12 different pharmaceutical drugs. It's crazy. So, anyway, we've tried a lot of things with her that have helped her get off some medications and feel better. As soon as she started taking the CBD oil, she's like, man, I don't know what this stuff is, but my friends tell me I'm walking better, I'm walking faster, I'm standing up straighter, my restless legs I had every night is gone. I mean, just going on and on and on and on. But you can but people are in debilitating pain conditions. I could give you all kinds of stories and situations from people I've worked with, but it gets people out of pain. And if you're on Vioxx all these drugs that are destroying people, I know a guy who's taken, I can't even remember what he said, something astronomical amount of ibuprofen every day because of the pain he's in, 30-some pills or something crazy. Taking the CBD oil, is able to get off of it. And you see all the side effects to taking those pharmaceutical drugs. There aren't any side effects to taking the natural things of God unless you do it to excess, like we can with alcohol, and we can with marijuana, and we can with cocaine, which is from a coca leaf plant that we grind up and concentrate. It's like when we take cane sugar and we run it through machines and we put it in bags. That's a drug. That's drugging our children because it was never meant to be concentrated in that form to go into the human body in that form. That's why it messes up the brain and the mind, and that's why it's addictive. So the CBD oil is safe. Hemp oil is safe. You can't take too much. People will take, like the capsule form, 15 milligrams twice a day. There's liquid forms. There's various strengths. There's various qualities out there. The one I'm using right now is called Elixinol. The guy's been studying hemp for 20 years before it was like super cool and popular. He's dedicated his life to studying hemp and helping people understand that it can be used as a medicine and healing and not side effects, and help people not use and need pharmaceutical drugs. That there's natural ways to heal the body and not need these medications, even if you have severe pain situations. So I'm a big fan of CBD oil. I'm a big fan of a plant that God created that people can use to get out of pain and suffering and not need to rely on a pharmaceutical industry that will take their money and further cause damage and destroy their bodies. So I am on board with the CBD thing. I'm not going to say I'm fully on board with the marijuana thing, unfortunately, just because it's too easy for people to abuse things. So number 3, I put get an oats test, a GPL tox test, a heavy metal test. Try to find out, and I've talked about this in chronic fatigue syndrome class, the multiple sclerosis class. If you have some debilitating pain condition or disease diagnosis or whatever, there's a reason. There's something going on in your body that's interfering with how God designed your body to function. So if you're in pain, there's acidosis, or there's a chemical toxicity, or there's a heavy metal poisoning going on in your body, or there's an infection, or there's a something. And you can find out what these things are through different urine tests and saliva tests and blood tests. But you have to be a detective, because the pharmaceutical industry and most of the medical system, they don't check for these things. And blood, unfortunately, is not a good system to find out what's going on in somebody's body. That's when things have gone way, way, way awry and you have major problems, is when it shows up in your blood. And it's not the accurate way to test different things. It's not the most accurate way to test different chemicals, and urine test will tell all kinds of things that a blood test will never tell you. And so you got to be a detective. You got to find out why you're in pain. B vitamins, especially B12, really important for people with neuropathy, any kind of nervous system related issue. B vitamins are very important for the nervous system. There's a lot of people with diabetes and neuropathy that take vitamin B12 and other antioxidants, and their neuropathy pain gets better or goes away. So B vitamin feeds the nerves and the nervous system, so it's very important for that. I put a good chiropractor. And just with anything, like who's had a good experience with an auto mechanic and who's had a horrible experience with an auto mechanic, right? Who's had a good experience with a chiropractor and who's had a horrible experience with a chiropractor, right? So there's good and bad out there. You can't just label any particular field as good or bad, because it really comes down to the person and their heart and what they're doing and the techniques that they're using. But we do have chiropractors that we love here in Kansas City, and that we refer to people all the time, and they help people. I had a friend who basically had to be carried to their front door in the fetal position at the front door of at their office, couldn't move, couldn't function, in tears, crying so bad because his neck was so messed up, and they got him better. They got him better quickly. So chiropractors can be very powerful because of the effect that the spine has on our nerves and our nervous system. And again, the nerves and the nervous system is what relates to pain. So I'm a fan of chiropractic, if done well. Anti-inflammatories and pain relievers. We've heard of all kinds of natural things on the market that help with pain and inflammation. Again, why are we using all these pharmaceutical drugs when God gave us all these plants that do the same thing without the negative side effects? And in fact, there's what I call side benefits. There's other healing properties to the plants that are going to benefit to you. I can tell you, okay, I can't personally, but I can probably guarantee you that there's 100+ different benefits and claims that people can make about turmeric. Right? Everybody's heard about turmeric. It's been in all over the news. So turmeric helped my pain, and it helped my inflammation, and it helped my headache, and it helped this and that. But it also does these other 100 wonderful, amazing things in the human body. And then when you take a pharmaceutical drug, you say, oh man, it helped my pain, but gosh, I hope I don't get all these list of side effects this long that includes, death or something debilitating. So we got to start choosing the things that God gave us. A couple of products, Tumerol. I like North American Herb and Spice. This is a concentrated turmeric extract. It also has ginger and oregano in it. Ginger is another very powerful inflammatory. They have a product called Inflamease, specific for inflammation, and it has bromelain, papain, ginger, and the turmeric in it. So some of the things that we've heard about for inflammation are enzymes, bromelain, papain, herbs, boswellia, ginger, antioxidants, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, glutathione. I was going to talk about those next, actually. But I do have this formula that we love for now, and we've been using it, and people swear by it. I don't know if people need 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. I think I had a gal one time say, can I take 20 of these a day? I don't know. But we've had people with severe back pain and serious issues that if they took 6 a day, they took 8 a day, it took away their pain. And again, that's so much safer than taking the pharmaceutical drugs. Even if it's over the counter, even if you can buy it at the drugstore, it does not mean it's safe, especially for your children. So this has MSM, methylsulfonylmethane, which is sulfur, glucosamine, turmeric, curcumin, milk thistle, bromelain, boswellia, like a lot of these things we've talked about. It's called Dodecin, D-O-D-E, like 12, like dodecagon. There's 12 things in here that are really good natural anti-inflammatories that work. So I really like that product for that. If you just want to replace maybe a pain med or something. Antioxidants. When you increase antioxidants at the cellular level, pain goes away. When I first learned about Protandim, the main thing that they were promoting this for, now this is a multi-level marketing, and so that always, the money thing kind of clouds people's thoughts sometimes related to this, but it's a good product. That's the bottom line. That's why I still use it and sell it, because people, 2, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, the stories were all different, but people's pain would go away taking this. Some crazy stories. I mean, one guy, 20+ years of back pain from a car accident, he'd have good days and bad days, but never fully was out of pain till he started taking this, and his pain went away. They had a dog who was old, 14, 15 years old, kind of crippled, arthritic, and it's like, well, the dog's 14 years old. He's probably going to, he's at the end of his life. But they gave him the Protandim, and he started playing again. I mean, this stuff can work on animals too. Like, your animals don't have to suffer either. So Protandim is just a blend of herbs. And this blend of herbs happens to increase glutathione, which is an antioxidant, in the cells of the human body. And so when you increase antioxidants in the cells, pain goes away. So astaxanthin, Bioastin by Nutrex, one of the most powerful known antioxidants. People take this every day. They go somewhere tropical. They don't get sunburned. It protects the sun. It protects the muscles. It protects the nerves. It protects the body. So I've been using this for years. And then a couple other things for glutathione. You can take a glutathione spray under your tongue. And this is another product that increases glutathione in the cells. It's called R-lipoic acid with vitamin C. So if you take R-lipoic acid with vitamin C, it kind of works like the Protandim. It increases the antioxidants in the cells of the human body. You increase antioxidants and they go to work for you in the body. It knocks out your pain. Lots of things we can do to get rid of pain. Systemic enzymes. Love these. Nepronol. Arthur Andrew Medical. They did a study. They took, I can't remember how many people, but they took a whole bunch of people with diagnosed fibromyalgia. They put them on these enzymes. After 6 months, 93% of the people had no symptoms of fibromyalgia pain. That's huge. If you've ever known anyone who suffered from fibromyalgia, again, debilitating because it's in your muscles and it can be in your whole body. Because that scar tissue builds up in your muscles. Well, what is scar tissue? It's fibrin. It's fibrinolytic tissue. And what type of tissue is fibrin? It's a protein structure in the body. And when the body has a lot of damage, the scar tissue builds up abnormally as the body's fighting to try to repair all this damage. The enzymes, they're called systemic enzymes because they work in the system. They work in your blood. They work systemically in your body. As I call it, like Pac-Man. They go through the body and they eat up old, sick, dead, diseased scar tissue. I mainly use this to help people clear out blocked arteries. But people's scar tissue will go away and people's fibromyalgia pain will go away because there's proteolytic enzymes, protein-eating enzymes in here that will eat up fibrin. It'll gobble up that scar tissue that's built up in your body, maybe from a surgery, maybe in your muscles because of fibromyalgia. The Nepronol is amazing for that. And then I put water. Man, we have the living water machines, the negatively ionized alkaline water. A lot of people have heard about that. It's controversial to some people, think it's not what it says it is or whatever, but too many testimonials out there for it not to be helping people. And I've seen it help a lot of people. We give it here for free to people. And I have many people like, man, as long as I'm taking that water, I don't have this pain, or I sleep good, or what. I've heard all kinds of things. I have one particular lady who has arthritis, and she swears that as long as she's drinking that water, she doesn't have any arthritic pain. After being on it for, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks, she noticed her arthritis pain go away. So drinking the right water, hydration, simple things can help us get out of pain. Castor oil packs. The oil that heals. There's a book I read called The Oil That Heals. Castor oil in Latin is palma Christi, which is palm of Christ. Now that's a man-made given name, but they named it that because it healed so many people of so many different things. And castor oil packs you can put on your abdomen, you can put on a damaged area, a sore area. Amazing for healing spine issues, damaged spine issues, slipped disc, damaged disc, herniated disc, back injuries. It's been known to help people with liver issues, gallbladder issues, ovarian cysts, fibroid tumors. So, castor oil packs. One of the things it does is it just relaxes the entire nervous system and it puts it in a state of healing. Are you guys seeing a trend here? I mean, anything you can do to calm and relax your nervous system and to be in a state of healing brings healing to the body. This is why Jesus, the Prince of Peace, can bring healing. This is why the right emotional mindset can bring calm and healing. This is why getting enough sleep can bring healing. This is also why spending time in nature can bring healing. This is why castor oil packs and CBD oil and a lot of these herbs that we can take can bring healing. A lot of this relates to how we're treating our nerves and our nervous system. All right, so magnesium oil, just a couple more. Magnesium oil, soak your feet in it night before bed. I love the magnesium oil foot soaks. Helped a lot of people with headaches and migraines and cramping and all different kinds of situations. Women with their menstrual cramps, it's been amazing. People are just chronically deficient in magnesium, so that helps. And then essential oils. I just picked 4 because these are some of God's most powerful medicines because they're plants in a concentrated form. I love wintergreen for muscle pain. I've given people wintergreen for muscle pain many, many, many dozens of times. Peppermint, great for pain. It wakes you up. It's a nervous system stimulant. Frankincense and ginger. Those are the 4 I picked. You could pick 100 more, but those are 4 very good ones for pain. Frankincense, ginger, wintergreen, and peppermint. And then, and we could go so much deeper into all the other things God's given us to bring in relief from pain conditions and healing. But again, that's my heart's desire, is that we choose the natural things of God. We give Him the glory for our healing, that we don't just cover up our pain. We don't ignore the way God designed our bodies. We don't ignore the pain. And again, there's a time and a place that you might need a medication for a severe situation or a surgery. I get that. This isn't about being in condemnation, but this is about understanding that you're going to grow in your relationship with God and aligning with Him and how He designed you if you can work with creation, with how God designed your body to function, and not against it. Because unfortunately, most of what our medical system works against God's creation and design. And He gave us pain, and like I said, pain's bad because I know it wasn't the heart of God from the beginning, and I have the hope that in eternity I will never have pain again. But right now, I'm not going to waste my pain. I'm not going to waste the opportunity that I have through pain. It doesn't mean I want to have it forever. And I do ultimately want to discover and learn what God needs to teach me in my broken, sinful, filled with error way so that I can be closer to His heart. That's really my desire, is to be more like Christ. And one of the best ways to find Jesus is through pain. It's how some people find Jesus in the first place, is through an episode of extreme pain and suffering. But God meets people in their pain. And so I hope that helps somebody. Amen. Questions?
I have a question I wanted to share. I used to live on a leave because of arthritis in my body. Since I changed my diet, I don't need any more leave. I have no pain.
Praise God. You don't want to say that on YouTube, do you? You want to say that on camera?
Sure.
You want to come up here and stand next to me? Ooh, this is fun. This is my good friend, Esther.
And I'm 85 years old.
She's 85 years old. Give us your testimony.
I used to live on a leave because I had arthritis in my body. And when I changed my diet, I quit having pain. I have no more leave.
Amen. And now you're relieved.
Yes.
Because you don't need a leave.
That's right.
Praise God. All right, that's a good testimony. Thank you, Esther. That's awesome. All right, do you guys have any other questions or comments? Yes?
Yes, I have. I think my Barrett's is getting better because my gastroenterologist approved me going from 40 to 20 mg's proton pump inhibitor. That's
good.
And so I'm hoping that when I have my 3-year checkup of my gastrointestinal system, that you'll find there's no damage in it. And I'll be so happy when I can feel acid reflux again, because that would mean my Barrett's esophagus is still there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep, good way to look at it. Yes?
You mentioned NAC. Can
Yes.
you talk more about that?
NAC? NAC is N-acetylcysteine. It's a precursor to glutathione. So I'm no chemist, but we've learned a lot of things about the human body, and we know glutathione is really important. But we know that there's a substance in the body called N-acetylcysteine that the body needs to make more glutathione. So you can actually take NAC, N-acetylcysteine, to help your body produce more glutathione. That's about all I know about it.
Do you know if that's something that you do take when you stop taking it? Will your body, like, does it help your body produce glutathione after? Like, is it?
It's a good question, and you could ask the same question about like Protandim and some of those other products. Does it continue to work after you stop taking the product? It depends. Most of the reason people aren't producing antioxidants and their cells aren't working the way they're supposed to is because there's toxicity, there's interference, there's something missing, or there's some kind of something damaging the cell so that it can't do what it's supposed to do. So by giving the body what it needs to do what it's naturally supposed to do anyway, that's why herbs are so great. It gives the body what it needs. I always say it's the building blocks that God needs to do what He designed us to do in the first place. So I don't think anyone can guarantee that when you stop taking it, it would continue to do that. Because I guess it depends on, are you getting those nutrients? Have you removed the toxicity or the interference that's inhibiting your body from producing glutathione in the first place? You know, so it's kind of a tough question to answer.
So would you, like, as far as function, then it's like the same or similar to Protandim, or?
I think Protandim is better because it's an herbal formula. NAC or N-acetylcysteine is probably, I don't know how natural of a source that is. I like the fact that you can take a blend of like those 5 herbs that does the same thing. And turmeric, green tea, milk thistle, bacopa, and ashwagandha, I think. It's just those 5 herbs. So I would prefer that method, personally. Yeah. Any other